Carbon here. Welcome to the first of our Sea of Thieves how-to series. Hurd and I will be teaching you the ins and outs of Sea of Thieves from our experience through playing the alphas and betas, plus the new things we will learn as we work our way to becoming a legendary captain. Today's video focuses on the ships themselves. I am going to take you on a quick tour of the Galleon and the Sloop. We need to begin, however, with the basic names of each part of the boat, because these are crucial to the crew on the open seas where landmarks come less often. I am also going to be referencing them in this video, so it'll be very important in that aspect as well. Outside of the obvious north, south, east, and west on the compass, which we will have more details on in an upcoming equipment video, you need to know the bow, starboard, stern, and port. The bow is the front, starboard is the right, stern is the rear, also known as the abaft, and the port is the left. Now I know some crews can probably get away with using left, front, right, and rear, but why wouldn't you want to become a real pirate and learn the actual nautical terms? Now let's begin with the Galleon. This is a 3 to 4 pirate square rigging styled ship with 3 large masts, 4 different levels, plus a captain's quarters and a crow's nest. We will do feature videos that go into details of some of these rooms, but for now we're just going to focus on the quick tour. The Galleon also has about 15 lanterns scattered all over the ship. Those can be important if you want to become stealthy or have some visibility when viewing the map. Let's begin at one of the most important parts of the ship, the helm. This is where the captain steers the ship and barks orders at his or her crew. You have quick access to a compass on the right side of the wheel, as well as the rear mast's length and angle pulleys on both the port and starboard sides of the ship. Now let's move to the top deck. This is where you have access to the main and front masts, which you also have the same length and angle pulleys as the rear has. You also have a capstan, better known as an anchor. When dropped, it stops and holds the ship in place, sort of like the equivalent to a handbrake. Raising it is very slow, but the more people that help, the faster it raises. Next are the cannons, of which there are 4 on the port side and 4 on the starboard side. A plank also sits next to each of the rear cannons, where you can force a no-gooder to walk the plank, although they may easily come back up via the ladders between them. There is another ladder that goes up to the crow's nest, and one entrance that leads down to the hull. Finally, a door to the captain's quarters, with a bell next to it, which is where we will head next. Once inside, there are many decorations to make it look homey for the captain, but you can't really use any of them. This room is only really used for a table, where the crews can place merchant or gold voyages down, and everyone can vote on which one they would prefer to do. This room also has a way out onto a balcony. These are some good locations for hiding treasure chests, or if you sneak onto the enemy ship yourself. Next we head up to the crow's nest. A long ladder climb will lead to the top, to one of the most amazing views on the ship. A bell sits at the top, ready for you to hit whenever you need to signal an enemy ship incoming. Going down to middeck, or the upper hull, will give you access to your inventory barrels. 3 cannonball barrels and a wood plank barrel sit at the stern. Your food and rum sit on the port side next to the stairs. Your armory, ammo, clothing, vanity, and equipment chests all sit at the bow. These are where you can change your clothes, appearance, weapons, and more. Finally, you have the map table, which sits at the bottom right of the stairs. This is where you can search the seas for that charted island that you've been looking for. But beware, there are plenty of uncharted islands and rocks hidden out there, so don't rely too heavily on the map. The final part of the Galleon to explore is the lower deck or bottom hull. This is the lowest point of the ship, and you only really have to come down here for the brig. But you may have to come down to patch holes every once in a while, or use it as another safety location for your treasure chest. So now that we've completely covered the Galleon, let's go over to the Sloop. This ship is a much smaller 1 to 2 pirate ship with only 1 mast, 4 different levels, plus a crow's nest. There are about 7 lanterns on the ship. Again, we'll start at the helm. This time there is a lot more in close proximity to the captain than on the Galleon. Like before, the steering wheel has a compass to the right of it. The 1 mast on this ship has its angle and length pulleys in close reach on both the port and starboard side. The capstan or anchor is right behind the wheel and rises and drops much quicker than the Galleons. Although, like the Galleon, it rises faster when you have a helping hand. There are 2 ladders on the port and starboard side that lead to the helm. The top deck holds 2 cannons, one on each side, as well as the cannonball barrels. There is a ladder that leads to the crow's nest, which has a bell attached. Finally, an entrance to mid-deck. The crow's nest is basically identical to the galleon's, only it isn't quite as tall. The bell also sits at the top. Moving down to the mid-deck, which is also the captain's quarters, will reveal an armory and ammo chest on the starboard side, the map table at the stern, and the table for voting on voyages next to the stairs on the port side. Finally, the lower deck is where nearly all of your inventory barrels and chests sit. Wood planks are in the middle, food on the starboard side, grog and clothing chest on the port side, and the vanity and equipment chests at the bow. The brig sits next to the stairs on the starboard side. So, I hope you've enjoyed this tour of the Galleon and the Sloop. Be on the lookout for future videos where I will go over the individual uses of most of these items. Herden is also doing his own videos on the exploration aspect of the game, so keep an eye out for those. Thank you all for watching. Try not to scuttle your Jolly Roger.